Still thinking. The internet didn't just go down, did it? No. Why? Like, seriously, when things go wrong, I am that person where it's not just one thing, it's like 5,000. It's trying to figure out if it's going to record this or not. There it goes. There it goes. Now it's going. Okay, so, all right, so back to this. Jupiter is the largest of the planets. Therefore, it has the greatest gravitational pull, and it has the most moons. There's at least 63 of them. I normally go back and fact check myself a lot. I didn't have enough time to search for it this morning because I had to go get my dog yesterday because my dog ran away. And I was still playing catch up this morning. The largest of all of the moons in our entire solar system is Jupiter's Ganymede. It's a giant ball of rock. That's it. It's a giant rock. Io is the closest moon to Jupiter. In fact, it's so close that it gets pulled and pushed by the gravitational pull of its planet. In fact, the entire moon is like squished, and then it's fattened back out, and then it's squished like taffy, which is why there's so many volcanoes on it. The largest active volcanoes are on Io, but the largest volcano, period, was on Mars, which is Mount Olympus. We're really taking a close look at Europa. That's the one that we pretty sure has got a subsurface water layer. We don't know how thick. We haven't figured it out yet. And then this is actually a fairly recent image of Jupiter. The reason why I know it's recent is because about 10 years ago, give or take, a little less than that, a comet was broken apart. And these white specks right here are where the pieces of the comet punch through it, and it's almost like a scar within the gas cloud of Jupiter. Boys, shh. These bands are moving different directions at about 400 miles an hour. One's going this way, one's going this way. And I'm going to let you listen to Jupiter here in a bit. You're listening to Jupiter's roar. You're actually listening to the interaction between these bands of color. Jupiter just lost an entire band, and we don't have any idea why it vanished. This red dot is a giant hurricane. Used to be about 3 times the width of Earth. Now it's about 2.5. It's getting smaller. We also don't know why. We don't. But it is. It's getting smaller. Huh?
Why is it red?
It has to do something with the chemical composition that's underneath it. I'd have to go back and honestly look at, spectrum data to figure out specifically why it's red. This black dot, you know what that is?
Black hole.
It is not a black hole. That's a good guess, though.
It is, I thought you told us.
Told my other classes. It is the shadow of one of Jupiter's 4 largest moons as it is passing across the surface. Galileo used the moons to prove that Copernicus was right, and then the church said, we don't like you very much, and they put him on house arrest for the rest of his life. That's what they did. We talked about it before. Even if you have a cruddy telescope, you can see the 4 big moons with Jupiter. They're going to look like pinpoints of light on either side. The little Cassegrain that I had over here in my personal scope, I can see the color bands of Jupiter. Last time I looked at it, the red spot was on the other side of the planet because the planet bends just like we do. Okay, I'm going to go forward. I will play this. Those of you that are online, I think I figured out what the problem is, because my cable is trying to feed an audio signal to the projector, which is not actually projecting audio, but I'm using my speakers, and I'm pretty sure that's why when I play stuff, it echoes, because it doesn't echo on my side. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. I haven't had a chance to have Brian or somebody else that's techie, that knows more about tech than I do, to fix it. So when I play them, I'm not trying to hurt your ears. This is Ganymede. This is Callisto. This is Io. Almost looks like it's covered in cheese. It's actually sulfur. Sulfur's yellow. And then this is Europa. The documentary that I have is old. It's 15 years old, so it's outdated. When this was made, the guy that did Avatar, James Cameron, actually did part of the CGI of the aliens that are possibly on other planets on this, and it's very obviously him that did it. Huh?
Blue people. Blue people.
The blue people. Yeah. The people with the flying rocks and the pterodactyl bird things. Those.
Moving on to the next question, what life is itself.
Yeah, with unobtainium. Yeah, that was stupid. Anyway, so this particular documentary, at the time, NASA was trying to do the GMO mission. GMO was the Jupiter Icy Moon Orbiter. What it was going to do was it was going to land on Europa. It'll go out there, land on Europa, and it was going to use a nuclear reactor to melt its way through the ice. And then once it melted down to the water part, it was going to release like a submarine, like a very smart submarine, and it was going to see if there was anything there underneath the ice. Way too advanced for what they could do. So they scrapped GMO. This thing does talk about GMO. Probably not going to watch it. It's because it's too old. But instead, they did what's called Juno. And Juno just got to the Jovian planet like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, maybe. It was really recent. And I'm about to show you all different kinds of really cool pictures that it sent back. All of the gas giants have lots of moons. They all have rings. You normally do not see Jupiter with the rings depicted because they're very faint. They're all primarily made of gas, hence a gas giant. And they all have huge magnetic fields. Jupiter is going to be the biggest, baddest one of them all.
Do we have any satellites on Jupiter?
Well, Juno's at it right now. It's not on it. It's looking, it's around it. This is a better image of those holes that are punched in the surface from the comet. The comet was SL9. That was the name of the comet that broke apart. And Jupiter's sort of like our nanny. It finds all the really bad asteroids and comets and basically sucks them in and eats them up so they don't slam into us and kill us. I just went into it. It got eaten by the planet, essentially. This is a much higher resolution image. This is just a more modern image, a more recent image of Jupiter. Jupiter, it helps protect us. It takes the bad, not all of them, because we still have mass extinction strikes, but it takes the bulk of the bad ones for us. All right, so this is Juno. No, you do not need to know all the information that's on the slide. Only a NASA engineer will write a joke 20 years in the making. So Jupiter was a ladies' man. He had lots and lots and lots of concubines, little lady friends. And all of Jupiter's moons are named after his mistresses. Juno was the name of Jupiter's wife. NASA literally sent Jupiter's wife to spy on his mistresses. Only a NASA engineer will think to do something like that. This thing is massive. It's about 70 feet by about 20 feet. Absolutely huge craft. And it's looking for different chemical signals and whatnot. It's trying to look more towards the center of Jupiter. This thing is giving us all different kinds of info right now. This is one of the poles of Jupiter. This is not a painting. This is an actual image that Juno took. All of these are storms. It's just we don't normally see the pole of Jupiter. We see it from the side. It has auroras, just like the northern lights. They've actually seen really weird geometric patterns in the clouds, and they can't explain that either. They have no idea what caused that. Could be, I don't know. This is an extremely high resolution image of the clouds. No, it is not a painting. This is our information's changing. It does sort of look like something that somebody would paint. But you see the circular pattern? That's a storm. Now I'm going to play the sound of Saturn, the sound of Jupiter, the one that we just looked at. I'm not going to do it for long because it hurts the people online's ears. I need to turn my volume up and turn it on. Okay, so Jupiter. This is what Jupiter sounds like. No, sound does not travel in space. It's decoding the radio signal back into an audio file, just like the radio does in your vehicle. But that is what Jupiter sounds like. And while I have it up, Saturn's actually Saturn and Pluto's terrifying. Pluto sounds like it's got horns that are blasting off of it. This is Saturn. It's the rings. That's the rings that you're hearing. I'm going to fast forward it. This is also the rings. It's those things that are pinging off of each other. The rock, the dust, the ice, bouncing off of each other. What is Saturn's what?
What if Saturn's ring disappears?
I don't think that's gonna happen. Well, okay, so like the theory behind like what made the rings there in the first place was multiple moons smashed into each other, and that's just all the debris. When you spin around in a circle, how your arms go out, same thing happens, but it's spread this way. The rings are very, very, very thin, but they're very, very, very wide. This Cassini line, this like gap, if you will, you could like drive the Earth through it. They really, really, really inventive with the names. There are 3 major bands of the rings of Saturn. They are A, B, and C. A is on the outside. There's a teeny tiny gap here. This one's B, and this one's C. Second largest planet, second most amount of moons, at least 30 of them. I said these numbers change. We keep finding more. If you could pluck Saturn out of the sky and shrink it down, it would float on water. That's how light it is. Titan is the largest one. If you have a decent scope, it looks bright orange. Really, the only one that ever seems to get mentioned is Titan. We have actually landed a probe on Titan, and I'm about to show you an image of the landscape of Titan taken from this machine before it froze to death.
What?
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I want to go back here. Okay, so I'm going to go forward and go backwards. This is Cassini, and on its belly was the probe that's going to take the image that's on the previous slide. Cassini is no longer there. They purposely crashed it into Saturn. Before it crashed itself into Saturn, yes, it took data. They did it on purpose. Before it crashed into Saturn, this little guy down here disengaged and went to Titan. And this is the image. You can watch the video of this. So as this probe, it engaged its parachute, and as it was falling, it went over top of this ridge, and it actually landed back here in the plane. And you can see when it lands, dust comes up. You can see the parachute actually go in front of it and land. And very shortly after that, it froze to death. Titan, it's because it's that cold. Titan has rivers. Titan has lakes. Titan has rain. Titan has clouds, but it's methane. It is liquid methane,
Awesome.
which is what happens when a cow farts. Methane gas. It's just so cold, it's no longer in the gaseous state, it's in the liquid state. So this is the only known system that has an active weather pattern just like we do. It's just really, 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 really cold. Like I said, that was Cassini. Cassini just died like in 2017. Very, 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 very recent. It was launched back in 97. So it actually had a decent lifespan. This is an updated image of Saturn.
What was the name of the probe?
Huygens. Okay, I think this is not professional, but I think these are the people that are picking up my debris. Hello? Yes. Okay, it's not locked. You have, yeah, okay, so the one that's by the garage, if you're not careful, because I need to tighten it with an Allen wrench, you're actually going to pull the handle off. So if it's the one that's by the well house, if it's the one that's by the pasture, it's ghetto. But what you got to do is push on the part where the gate's attached to, and then pull in the opposite direction with the gate, because it's just hard to open. No, the one that's by the garage, it's the same thing. You just got to sort of manhandle it. Honestly. No, and if you pulled it, honestly, if you pull the handle out of the gate, just put it back on. And then that back house is unlocked if y'all need to use the bathroom. just make sure when you shut the door, like you really yank it shut, because otherwise it won't latch. So, yeah, that's really all that's there. And, I already told the people that are buying the house that I'm probably not going to be able to get stuff right. Just the big stuff. You can pile as much as you want to that's in the large fern pit that's in the backyard. They also said that if you want to, you can pile some of the stuff in their burn pit that's in their front yard. Because I don't know if you want to set stuff on fire or not. I know it's a liability, but the neighbor said that they could burn stuff. So, okay. No, I understand. And I'm not sure, she went to go do grocery shopping, but I sent her money via PayPal so that she can pay you this. And they're the people that are across the street with a flagpole in their front yard. Got it? Worst comes to worst, I do have a double gate that's over on the side in the hurricane fence, but you have to walk all the way around to go through it. But like I said, both of those middle gates and the wrought iron fence, you just gotta manhandle them. Okay, all right, give me a call if you have any other problems. All right, bye-bye. $200 is gonna cost for them to pick up all that stuff. Anyways, I apologize. Hugens. Yep. Now, it rode originally on Cassini, okay, and then it disengaged, and then it went to Titan. Okay, so this is actually the shadow of the rings, because you're looking at from the side where the sunlight's going like this, and it actually broadcasts shadow on the side of it. All right, so I get to say Uranus and not get in trouble all day long. Uranus is blue. This is not a visual image. This is looking for different chemical signals. Uranus is really like a super pale blue. It almost looks white. Huh? No, this is not a visible image. This is looking for different chemical signatures. That's why it looks like this. Why am I hearing music? Whose is it? Turn it off. Oh, goodness. The weird thing about Uranus is it's on its side. Most of the things, they line up like this towards the sun. Well, Uranus has turned sideways. That is its really weird thing. It has quite a few moons. Yes, it has rings. It was one of the last planets that we actually discovered using a telescope. The blue color is caused by methane gas. And it is the coldest average temperature planet. It's not where the coldest recorded temperature is. It is the coldest average temperature planet. And I can play Uranus for you. I find that, no, it does not sound like a fart. It would be hilarious if it did, though. Okay, so this is a visual image, a visible image of Uranus. So like I said, it's very, 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 very pale. Sort of just sounds like background noise, like air. That's what it sounds like. Let me pause it. Next planet out, Neptune. Neptune was the god of the sea. Triton was like his son or something. I don't know what was the name of Triton. Triton was something. Triton is the largest moon of Neptune. The coldest recorded temperature is found here, but the coldest average planet is Uranus. It has another giant hurricane thing, but this one's blue. It's bigger, gets smaller, goes away, it comes back. What? Yes. Yes. These clouds are suspended ice crystals, water ice clouds. It's the liquid part that's unique to us. Ice is everywhere. Neptune was discovered with mathematics, with calculus. We didn't discover Neptune with a telescope. Has at least 13 moons. Triton is the largest. It was discovered with mathematics. The whole planet is shrinking. It's not losing mass. It's just getting smaller. And because it's getting smaller, the particles are coming in closer contact with each other. There's more friction, and its temperature is actually going up. And yes, it was discovered with calculus. I cannot remember who it was that did it. I'm not worried about that. Neptune sounds like this. There's more methane on Neptune, so it's a deeper blue. But this also just sort of sounds like wind. All right, and then the one that got kicked out, poor Pluto. Pluto is terrestrial. Pluto is not made of gas. We have all different kinds of updated images from Pluto. Pluto has 5 moons. There are only 2 planets that do not have moons. That is Mercury and Venus. Everybody else has at least 1. We have 1. Mars has 2. Pluto has 5. Neptune has at least 13. Pluto had to deal with the underworld, with Greek. And in order to get to the underworld, you had to go across the river Styx. There was no such thing as heaven and hell to them. It was just where you went when you died. And in order to get passage across the river Styx, you went on the boat with the ferryman Charon. And in order to pay said ferryman, they would put coins on your eyes, which is why they did that when you died. Going across the river, you were protected from the Hydra. That was the multi-headed serpent thing. You cut off the head and like regrow back.
Yeah.
And then the lady that brought the night, her name was Nyx. And the whole reason why I'm saying this is because those are the names of the moons of Pluto. Oh, I forgot about the 3-headed dog, Caribus. It is a ka, not a sa. We changed the pronunciation. The original pronunciation was a hard K sound. There are other Plutoids, other dwarf-like planets. We talked about Ceres. We talked about Pluto. There's also Eris. That is pronounced Make. It is Hawaiian. And the other one is pronounced Halimea, which is also Hawaiian. So if we started counting all the dwarf planets, we'd have at least 13. And we'd have to find more. Pluto was demoted because it does not completely clear its orbit of debris, which is a bunch of hogwash because no planet has completely cleared its orbit of debris. We wouldn't have meteor showers.
Wait, how many dwarf planets are there?
5 counting Pluto. Ceres, Eris, Pluto, Halimea, and Make. Those are now they're looking at others. They just haven't been like promoted to dwarf planet status. This is just to show you that ice is abundant. This is sort of like a cross cut of Pluto. Subsurface is ice, sub that is water, and then it's got a terrestrial core. It's got a solid core. This is an updated picture of Pluto. It looks like it has a heart on it. It's just this image has shifted it. Here's the other side of the heart, which is ice. And just to put it to scale, Pluto used to be the smallest planet. It is not anymore because it was demoted. Now that is Mercury. But this puts Pluto in relationship to the size of the Earth. Charon is approximately half the size of its planet. Even though they're small, in relationship, Charon is the largest moon in relation to its host planet. Every 216 years, these guys exchange their atmosphere. It is the only known situation where that happens in our solar system. And then these are other little moons. Itty bitty little guys. I'm going to freeze this. Like I said, the whole mythology lesson that I gave you was to explain where the names of these came from. Online, let me double check them. Make sure. Oh, I got a message. Do we have notes for this presentation? Are they not online? There should be a skeleton online if I didn't make a mistake. Yeah, they're in there. And then I'm going to upload this because I'm recording it right now. In fact, I'm about to stop it. And I'm going to upload this to YouTube.